Hello and welcome everyone to the Gold Advantage on the Best of 3 Network. Scotty has kindly tuned us in with some vibing jazzy music, which I'm probably going to edit out. It's to numb the pain of his horrendous call of Cloud9 going 3-0 when instead they went 0-3. All is well in the universe because previously Scotty correctly made.
So I was going to say from 3-0 to 0-3, the world is right.
Let me be very clear.
It's right, yeah. There's a balance.
Let me be very clear. I have not been right about the LCS like all year.
Yeah, but you were right about the LEC once, and
I've been right about the LEC like I have been so spot on the LEC
with this year. You could have just left it like ever.
Yeah, that's a long
No. It's not been forever. I've been I've had my streaks here and there in the LCS, but the LEC was my bread and butter this year. I had to take a bold claim on the LCS at the end of the season. You know,
he had one good call.
He
had one good call, and then he was so ready to ride those coattails. You should have seen him in the Discord. It was just like, he was like, I'm going to ride this until the cows come home. Except it was 1 week, and then he got it wrong. So,
look what two gentlemen got fucking balls this week.
Yeah, well I just checked preseason rankings. Where did you rank Cloud9?
First.
Scotty?
I don't know. Probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
To be fair,
I mean, listen.
To be fair, Scoot and I am
part-time fanboy, full-time content.
I'm honestly
creator.
upset with
Let's
myself
be very clear.
for not calling the EG to be the Mad Lions of the LCS. Like, this is clearly the team.
I think you mean G2.
It could mean G2. G2 might be appropriate for this year. Mad Lions in previous years.
More recent.
I'm just upset with myself. Naturally they were going to fucking take down FlyQuest. Naturally they were going to fucking smoke Cloud9 because we knew 2/3 of this group knew that Cloud9 was not what you claimed that they would be. And now
Cloud9 was just...
And now they are going up against
like last year.
A tasty little semifinal match.
We gotta talk about there's a massive parallel between this year's Cloud9 and last year. Like, that imploded one spring. I mean, this year they kind of got ahead of schedule, which is nice. They're like, hey, we've got somewhere to be, so let's get this implosion in early. But you know, they won spring and then they fell apart. Didn't even make worlds. They bring in the coach. They build the whole team around him. Fire him.
Yeah, they were like, that was a...
And the team slowly
like, why not?
We used a week... Well, mediocrity is a strong word, Nikki. They were second place throughout the entire season. They were actually...
Literally, Rogue comes first place the whole time, has reached finals 2 out of 3 seasons, and you guys are like,
the best regular season team of all time.
No, even playoffs.
They're not a playoff team. It doesn't matter.
They reach finals 2 out
They
of 3
can go to every fucking final. They cannot win. It doesn't matter. It literally no. You're not bringing Rogue into this conversation. Like at least Cloud9 has the sack to go win a final at some point.
Is not mediocre. Then how can Rogue, who reaches the finals 2 out of 3 years?
I didn't say they're not mediocre. They're pretty mediocre right now. I'm not going to disagree with that.
I'm not talking to you, Scotty. Jesus Christ, mute your mic. God damn it.
We are not comparing Rogue to Cloud9.
Cloud9 wins championships when they're in them. You know? That's the crazy part.
But do they reach it? No.
I mean, sometimes.
I think it's
historically speaking, yes.
I think mediocrity is a fair point.
Is Rogue on a better path to development? Sure.
So they got Cloud9 got 0-3 twice, and the rest of the LCS just doesn't matter. Outside of top 4 in the LCS, like, it's never really mattered.
It doesn't. We said this. It's a bunch of the same teams over and over again.
How is being the lowest ranked team and getting 0-3 twice not mediocre?
How is this what we're wasting people's time on? We had a fun weekend. Let's get to the matches.
Yeah, no, but this is a real this is a real question because I think they are mediocre and I think they're gonna make a roster change before summer.
Okay,
I don't think they're even
Cloud9. Here's the answer. Here's my answer.
Who else are we talking? Hold on. Who else are we talking about? Chris?
Rogue. I think Rogue should be making a roster change as well before the summer series.
That's what I mean. So one team reaches finals and they're mediocre. One team doesn't even reach semi-final or like a finals.
Nikki, there's such a difference. There's such a difference. Rogue is a team that continues to place first during the best of one regular season, split after split at this point. I think it's been going on like 4 fucking splits, yet is unable to close out and win the championship. Whereas Cloud9, they were in MSI last year. They, I think, might have won it last time.
They didn't make Worlds. They were at
MSI.
They didn't even make Worlds.
Cloud9
this year, and they didn't even make finals of playoffs this year.
Yep.
So that's what I'm saying. Is like, and that is worse than Rogue.
I'm all about replacing. I'm all about replacing some people for Cloud9. So I am not above saying that Cloud9 is
mediocrity to me.
Cloud9 is mediocre. I'm not.
You disagreed. This whole thing started because I called them mediocre. No, they're not.
Cloud9. Hey, let me chime in. Let me chime in here, boys, gentlemen. Cloud9 is definitely right now mediocre, and that sucks because listen, I was writing.
We literally have it here. I'm going to edit this, and I'm going to cut back to where I went mediocrity, and you went, they're not mediocre.
Wait, no, Cloud9 did make
Worlds.
Did they make?
No, they had the crazy day where they won 3 games to make it out of groups. It was insane.
Nikki's fucking. Nikki's fake news. You can't.
You know who didn't fucking make it out of groups?
I'll cut that.
You know who didn't make it out of groups? Who didn't make it out? Who didn't fucking make it out? Who didn't make it out?
I don't trust Nikki to edit this episode. It's too.
By the way, I'm going to just mute Scott this whole time so we can actually have a conversation because all it is you screaming in the mic while people.
My ears are bleeding. My ears are bleeding.
Active baboon.
Sorry. Let me turn my gain down just a little bit and get a little cordial.
Your gain could be all the way down and it would still be bleeding my ears.
Anyway, my point being is that I do think Cloud9 has slid into mediocrity. I think they started off exciting, and I think it's been a slow
my point,
descent.
Nikki, if you're going back to earlier in this conversation where I said they're not mediocre, they did finish so far in the regular season in second place, but I am 100% agreeing. Like, they finished on a 2-game losing streak. They kind of came in, limp-dicked it the first time against, and now I'm just mentally blanking, but when they limp-dicked it against 100 Thieves, got fucking 3-0'd, which was embarrassing. Guess what? They beat Golden Guardians. The small, you can do your little applause thing, Scoot, if you want, but no one's fucking actually laughing. And then, exactly. Good job, C9. Good job. And then they get fucking 3-0'd again against like the only 2 of the 3 teams. I promise if they would have played Team Liquid, it would have been another 3-0. So I completely agree.
So that's not mediocrity.
It is mediocrity. It is worse than mediocrity.
Okay, thanks for tuning in to the Gold Advantage, guys. I'm very happy I proved my point. Cloud9 is mediocre. Now moving on to the better part of the episode.
But wait, by the way, no. We have some big fish to fry on this.
Here's how we view
this. Is this where we're focusing our time?
Give me 1 second, because here's how I view this.
I think that the biggest team.
If you want to make the argument that Rogue isn't mediocre, and they probably aren't. They're one of the greatest regular season teams we've ever seen. But at the same time, they just cannot close out. So this becomes an argument of whether or not you think that being extremely volatile, which is Cloud9, where you can go, yeah, we start off the split amazing and then absolutely dump it, and then next split they could come back and be great. Or you want the consistency to then come in second place every time.
But to be fair, they weren't. I would take consistency, but they didn't come back in second place, and I don't think they are at the moment. The problem is that the team just looks bad.
Well, they didn't come back in second place.
Even their best player, Summit, looks bad. Like he is at once phenomenal in lane, but also so one-dimensional that he's just getting completely exploited, and he isn't. It's kind of. There's a lot of the times where I was looking at the game, and I was like, "What the fuck is the rest of the team doing? Like, really? Like, what are they doing?" And I'm sure Summit is tilted off the face of the earth, but then at the same time, we have other teams where you have a player and the rest of the team isn't doing so well, and someone of Summit's caliber should be able to adapt. And he's
so what's your take on Summit? This was so.
He's good and he's great. He's gonna
go
back to Korea. I reckon he goes back to Korea. He joins a top team and he works there, because if you ignore Summit, he does too well. If you put like 1 or 2 people on him, the rest of the Korean team is good enough that they know how to leverage that into a win. And then it works.
But this to me was the most interesting thing, is we were, and by the way, I think the LCS journalistic community at large was ready to give this guy,
of which we are part of.
I said at large.
MVP vote is in the mail.
I said our colleagues, if you will,
we're the Pluto of the solar system. Just You're a planet. You're not a planet. All right, I guess you are again.
Our similar compadres.
We have gravitational pull.
We're ready to, or maybe it might have already given Summit the MVP.
Him MVP.
Which.
No, he's gonna win MVP. I mean, he had a great split regular season. This is the same.
It kind of feels like people figured them out. They figured him out in particular. Like Jojopyun, Jojopyun was coming up and they were helping his homie up there, Inspired, and like it was wild. Impact.
Impact.
It was wild watching him just get fucking torched the first game, get torched the second game, and it felt like he was also just like. It was even weird, like around like the dragon, he would be like waiting on the outside, and then he'd like burst in and try and dive the group, but then like his team had already bailed, and that he was like, "All right, I guess I'm here by myself," and then just gets absolutely destroyed. And it was like, it seemed to me to be a big communication issue.
Do you blame him?
I don't know. I don't know who to bail. I don't know who to blame. I can't blame anybody.
Apparently, Winsome. I don't know what the language levels are at now with Berserker and Summit. But the whole point of Winsome was that he translated between the teams. They swapped him out for Isles. I don't think Winsome was great. I think Isles is better, but I don't think Isles is that great. To be fair, I don't think Berserker, everyone is like jumping up and down over Berserker. And I'm like, I think the problem here is that we have like a top, if you tell me like Berserker is like a top 4 ADC, yeah. If you tell me Summit is individually one of the most talented top laners,
sure.
But they're not winning games because
not only are they not winning, they're getting fucking torched.
Yeah.
The issue is that Berserker looks really good when Cloud9 plays poorly. So like, how much does that actually matter? You know, like it just ends up not mattering. I was very happy to see Yuumi win a game in the LCS and see Vulcan play that. I thought it was pretty inspirational. Some people should fucking take notes. Because Yuumi used properly, fairly OP.
Wait, is this like a hot take? Because everyone knows that.
No, I know it's not a hot take at all. But the LCS has not had success using Yuumi.
Scott's a cat kind of guy. You just let him roll with it. He'll have a good
I'm a cat guy. Yeah, fair enough. Listen, we like dogs around here too. So
I'm a dog guy.
You can still listen to the podcast. It's fair enough.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, at the same time, the biggest frustration with Cloud9 has to be the fact that you have one of the best top laners as well in your mid lane. Like, Fudge last year was incredible in the arc that he had coming up, and I don't think like he was terrible in mid lane or anything. I'm not arguing that they need to switch because Fudge was bad at mid lane. Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, he was fucking awesome in top lane last year, and I think it maybe functioned better as a team, and you have to consider making that swap.
I think, so. But I'd say you make it even worse is that they have the MVP in the jungle, and Blaber is unanimously like considered one of the, let's say, I would say top. Often he's in top 2 contention, like for best in team. If it's like Core JJ unanimously, and then it's normally Blaber, But like let's just say top 5 and. This is the thing is that you have a team. I remember there's one point the casters are like, oh, Cloud9's in a good position. They just need to not get caught. They get caught like instantly. And, this is, I as much as I'll blame the rest of the team for not being able to leverage the attention that Summit commands from his opponents, I also am blaming Summit because the man has like a one-track mind. He is like, I'm going to go fucking farm. I'm going to do this. And this is how we're going to... And it's like his teammates. And he's like, you guys are morons. And it's like, yeah, okay, they are. But you also now need to learn how to play with them. You can't just expect them to adapt to you.
Yeah. I mean, it has to be pretty difficult when you can't... Like, when you don't have that level of communication with your teammates.
But there's even individual stuff. Dude, he was getting ganked. And the casters are like, oh, in Champions Queue, you see him getting ganked every minute in different times.
Minute.
You would think if he's that great of a player, he recognizes that and goes, okay,
they were picking on him.
I need to be
They were
really
honestly
careful.
picking on him. They knew that was a weakness.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they followed the 100 Thieves model.
Oh, I'm sure he reported them for toxicity. It's like...
I'm reporting you guys for toxicity,
understandably. But it's just things like, his ward expires, he has nothing down, and surprise. He got ganked.
Yeah.
And then he burns his flash to try and get a kill. And I'm like, was that... Even if you got that kill, was it worth the fact that you flash it down for 5 minutes and you know you're getting ganked 2 or 3 times in that time?
It does help. It does help the KD. Right now he had a 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's getting destroyed.
Listen, I don't. You guys don't follow a ton of Valorant or anything like that. But there was a lot of shit thrown around the scene recently because Optic Gaming lost the series and they failed to credit the other team in like playing well. And I think we're doing a little bit of that right now.
Oh no!
EG
I am ready to. Sing Jojopyun's praises. That dude was electric all over the map every single game. Danny played great. Lovely little pentakill, which the team helped him get. It was fine. They just kind of
2 second unofficial one as well.
And so, Volt.
I mean, first picking Zeri every time. I mean, once again, I'm a little bit like big perplexion of like why did he get Zeri 3 games in a row when he was like clapping on it. But like the drafts also of EG. I think Scott, you were talking about this. How great was the Nocturne comp?
Well, I mean, Inspired's the facilitator. It was and you give him a champ that people don't see a lot. Like Nocturne isn't picked a lot. We've seen them try to do it before. I think C9 sees that and also sees it like not work. And I think we all realize like why it doesn't work. They go in without ults, right? And they get fucking stomped out by Liquid when it happened, right? But you learn from that. And C9's probably not expecting them to pick Nocturne again into this comp.
And game 1
Inspired does a great job facilitating.
I really liked the difference between game 1 and game 3 because game 1 they just Inspired was carrying. He had so many kills and was just running through them. Great to see. But then game 3 was almost like a slower pace game.
Well, wait. Sorry. Game 1 was Jojopyun's just breakout game.
Yeah.
You said Inspired.
The way Inspired was
but to
ganking,
have 5 kills is like
Inspired was ganking the shit out of everyone and was just getting like kill after kill after kill. Like the way he was playing with the Nocturne, but especially the reason I'm talking about game 1 is like game 1. What did he was like 5-1 and 12, so 12 assists, and then game 3. It's kind of like
the NBA. They hand out
he's
assists
2-1 and 13, and it's just. But the third game was a slower pace game, and yet he still piloted it to perfection.
What, by the way, in game 3, what an interesting game. Like, it kind of felt like...
Yeah.
It was kind of funny, right? EG kind of like overstayed their welcome in the base, kind of almost gets flipped, and I was like, oh my god, did they just fucking... And then throw this... I know. And luckily, luckily, I was rooting for EG, so luckily for me, but luckily they weren't... Like, Cloud9 was so far behind, but I was like, oh my god, what are you guys doing? They fucking give up the I'm blanking. The dragon. It was a good dragon.
Yeah.
Elder Dragon. Thank you. For some reason, my brain.
I mean, that
was a real concern, and I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I mean, I get the and we'll talk about 100 Thieves TL in a second, but it's like I understand the desire to kind of go to the base, get it over with when you think you can, but like the timers weren't there. It's like, what are you guys doing? Just go get the fucking Elder Dragon.
Even earlier on, honestly, the game like up until like. I think it was like 13 minutes actually. I'm looking at graphs now, but I felt like Cloud9 was doing really well. Like
they kept getting. I think they got first blood all 3 games, or like something. Like they kept being like right in. They did, in the early. They'd always get like the fucking first dragon. And I was like, because I've been like paying attention about who's going after what from the early game perspective and how that's kind of materializing itself, especially as it has such a big impact. I thought on the LEC, so I'm looking for those similar kind of. Insights to be able to apply them to the LCS, and it was so strange how like it felt like would always kind of get off to the early lead and then just kind of blow it right in the mid game, but then fucking EG, I was like, holy fuck, they're gonna blow this, and then I was a bit primed for it given the 100 Thieves Team Liquid reverse sweep that we'll talk about. But I was like, oh my god, if they fucking blow this at the base, give up Elder Dragon, that could be the one spark that a team like Cloud9 needs in order to kind of revert.
Needs to, and they're notorious.
Exactly. And I was like, oh my god.
I know there were. Look, I think we spent a lot of time slagging Cloud9. EG played super really well. I think Danny and Jojo each had like.
Jojopyun is not playing like a rookie that he is, right? Like Jojopyun is living up to the hype that we were on here in January talking about, that everyone was talking about. Yeah. We weren't alone in this endeavor. our fellow colleagues within the journalistic community of League of Legends were also on this, little insight that we were on. This kid is fucking electric, and it's been awesome to watch. And him and Danny, what a team! I love watching these guys. And we called this, or I called this, and whether or not they beat Team Liquid, I don't really care, because I think this summer is gonna be fucking awesome.
Yep, agreed. Matt, like 100% agree. And they just, I think each of the rookies played incredibly well. I think Inspired likes to be a hard carry and like really push things. He wants to be a bit of a focal point. He did. He got lots of kills or like a massive amount of assists, impacts of rock. Like overall, EG played really well. I do have a few concerns. I think like they fumbled closing out games 2 and games 3, which against a better team, maybe they come back in. They gave up early game kills, which is not a terrible thing, but if you're against a team that is very good at snowballing, maybe that's a problem. I think those, and then also the dragons, like they didn't get. Did they get like one single dragon the whole series? I'm gonna check, but like.
Oh EG.
Yeah, they got no.
I don't think they got a single.
No,
dragon.
That's not true.
5-0, 3-0. No, they didn't get a single dragon.
And
13-0.
That is concerning.
C9 got 13 dragons, and
they got they got 2 dragons in the last game. But they gave Cloud9.
Oh yeah, sorry, I can't read.
They gave Cloud9 a real opportunity there to get back into the game, just because they were like, take game 1, game 2, game 3.
Totally, and we've been
stack those dragons. Don't worry, and it's like
and we were on that.
Does it feel a little bit like if you shut down Inspired, you kind of shut down the snowball that EG might have? Like, is there a little bit of that? Because to me, it kind of feels that way. Like, Inspired is such a huge facilitator for this team, but if he can't facilitate, what happens on the back of that? That becomes like an issue. And I feel like a team like TL and a team like 100 Thieves, TL has already played them, and obviously that went 5, but I think they're going to do the math on that and figure out that it's not entirely a Summit situation where Cloud9 was winning games on the basis of pretty much Summit alone for about like 5 straight weeks, but it is concerning. I mean, they do still have like some possible superstars in Jojopyun and Danny, and as you said, like Vulcan and Impact are rocks, but
I think the biggest thing about is like, a little Danny and like I think you raise a really, really good point there. So much comes via Inspired. What happens if he's not doing as well? I don't think Danny and Vulcan are better than the other 2 bot lanes that they could potentially face. FBI, Huhi, Core JJ, and Hansama. It's like, so Jojopyun matching up against Bjergsen and Abdage, that's fine. But you raise a really good point, and I guess that takes us. Let's chat about. Should we jump into TL 100 Thieves, and then we'll talk about the EG-TL matchup?
Let's do it.
I mean, what the fuck? What was this series?
I mean, 100 Thieves adapting, I guess, again.
This is exactly what the people wanted, though, I mean, like, listen, I'm not a huge 100 Thieves fan or anything like that, but it is, like, this was awesome, just across the board.
Yeah.
Like, just a crazy series. I like him in other games.
I think the big thing for me was this. For my over 4.5 bet.
Stacks of dollars.
For my over $4.5 bet. But I did not go pick these up.
You really...
Oh, I thought you won that? I thought you were trying to say you won that money and like it's the money you stack, but you're just like...
No, it's actually a loan that he took out.
It's like, when those drug dealers are like holding like $20 bills and they're like, I got that money, and it's like, that's $20. That's $1 bills. That's not
from my cousin Vinny, where the dude like wraps a shit ton of singles into 20. He's like, I got $200 right here. He's like, let me see that $200 or whatever it is. Let me see. Like, all right, well, I'm good for it.
Do you ever watch Seinfeld?
Of course.
Where like Kramer has like, I keep the big notes on the outside, and he's like, that's a 10, and he's like, I know.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Can't do Seinfeld.
That was
my point being, over 4.5 was a fucking lock. And by the way, in that 5th match, which is the reason I didn't pick a winner, that game could have gone either direction and could have finished like, that was a fucking wild match. And
that was like a game. That was a series of games in one game with the excitement of it. Like, was huge.
You're completely right. Like, it was 100 Thieves started off strong. TL feels like they're in control. And all of a sudden, like, I don't know where 100 Thieves kind of comes back. And really, I don't know if I can't say that they deserve to win that game. They did win it, so they deserve it. But, like, what I will say is, if TL beats EG, and I'm not guaranteeing that that'll happen, but if they do, I promise it feels like Liquid beats 100 Thieves 3-0 or 3-1. I do not think that 100 Thieves is the better team. They won this series, and that's amazing. But the upside in the way that TL played in game 1 compared to the upside, like, TL was close in all these matches. It felt like 100 Thieves stole game 3 and 5. And it just felt like...
I don't know. I feel the games were so one-sided for game 1 and 2.
Yeah, it was just like, holy shit.
But I think that actually gives me more confidence. In a way, I really love the way that 100 Thieves is able to adapt.
I mean, they can dig out a series.
They are actually learning from the way that their opponents are playing. I agree game 5 could have gone either way, and I would have been happy either way. You know, like, if TL wins, it's like, okay, they won. But then 100 Thieves understood their win condition, and they knew how to bait them into... And let's say, by the way, also, let's say they don't overstay a little bit, or they all focus the Nexus in the right way and something like that, and they kill it then. I don't think you're necessarily saying that, like, oh, TL should have won. So, I don't disagree with you. But I think we're going to get a really good rematch between the two of them.
I mean, I also don't... They're clearly, I think, the two best teams.
I don't think 100 Thieves is going to need 2 games to learn how to... what TL's playing. That's what I think is going to be really good. Because
it feels like we're in the LEC again. With, like... I think that whatever happens in the lower bracket, like one team's going to steamroll the other. Like, between EG and TL, and then they're just going to carry momentum. And I think it presents a real problem for 100 Thieves.
You see, I would say both TL is going to beat EG, just because I think TL is the kind of mistakes that EG made, I don't think TL lets them get away with.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right, but at the same, like, you can get hot at the right time, and we've seen a lot of that recently. Not my boys, obviously. They fell short a little bit, but dude, I don't know. We talked about it beforehand.
Yeah, but you guys, you know what? You guys slandered 100 Thieves all season long, all split. You guys were like, you slandered 100 Thieves. You guys were like, that bad, and it's like they're sitting in
No. I never said
At what point were they shit?
Nikki,
they weren't shit. But hold on. Third place, and they were one game behind.
I'm gonna take something and put it right back in your face. The other fucking 6 teams in the LCS do not matter, at all. So if you're at 3 out of 4, you're in the bottom half of the LCS, pretty much. That's what that is. But I don't disagree. Listen,
it's not even about the other team. It's about the fact that they were 1 behind Cloud9 and TL the whole split.
It just didn't. At no point did they and to your credit, you were right about a lot of things. I wasn't even talking about that though when I said we talked about it before. I was talking about something we talked about before we started recording, which is that. Yes, you can ban a bunch of top laners, but you can't ban Ornn because it leaves better top laners open. And I think the pick in the right hands has been impactful across the board. There is one loss, I think, on Ornn as of late in both leagues. And it was in this series, it was game 1 when they got kind of stomped out. It almost there's almost no room to have impact at that point if you're Ssumday. And he just comes back on it and absolutely wrecks them. And it's just I don't know, maybe the CC isn't crazy important, but it feels like when timed properly, it can pretty much win or lose you a team fight.
Oh, yeah.
And more of the time, it's win.
I think Ornn is so important. I don't disagree with you at all there. I think the problem is if you take away Ornn, do they take Malphite? Do they take Sion? I don't think they're necessarily better, but do they get the job done? It's yeah. I think the flip side of it is just, Cloud9, 100 Thieves really, I don't agree. Game 3 and 4 were pretty significantly 100 Thieves sided. 100 Thieves, you said game 3 was stolen, but 100 Thieves had 18 kills and Team Liquid had 3.
Yeah, sorry, I meant game 4. That was a mistake.
like
when you go back.
Oh, but even game four was like really
was close.
Was a really good performance. It was 9-5.
Yeah, but Team Liquid was up early, like 3-1, right? And then they.
But game.
No,
I mean, kills don't matter when you're controlling objectives like a 4-1 dragon.
Correct.
And, you know,
but it just felt like a game where Team Liquid actually was like playing better than early. And again, it's early, but then it kind of gets it gets flipped there. Whereas like games 1 and 2, and I'm sure we want to dismiss it to a degree, but fucking Hans Sama was playing out of his fucking mind. It was just insane watching him.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, Hans Sama, this is clearly the player who's just came up, showed up. He's just gonna have a fucking party today. And he played that way in game 2. And honestly, the guy who, and I don't know if this is like a hot take, but the guy who really turned it around and really in games 3, 4, and 5, MVP for 100 Thieves was Abadage. And it was so fun to watch him play, and it's so great to kind of see a player like him come over from the LEC. And Huhi, to me, was underperforming by and large, and I was like, and him and FBI weren't quite getting the usually 1-2 combo that you get out of them.
Yeah.
And for Abadage to kind of come in and really turn that team around and play in a way that was
especially with
totally
how he started
100%. And so it was just so great to see him kind of do that. Not just take anything away from Closer, who I thought also had a great series. But to me...
Yeah, but this has been the whole split. I think Closer and Ssumday have been playing like at this level, whereas Abadage was like not performing well, and FBI and Huhi were kind of like phoning it in a bit. So I 100% agree with you.
Hey, TF pick had to work out eventually.
Exactly.
Right?
At some point. I think, look,
he made it work.
Yeah.
TL played
so
really
well.
It was so one-sided. It's kind of almost like I want to split it in two. TL of games 1 and 2 was so strong, and then TL of games 3, 4, and 5 was still incredibly strong, and I think could have won game 5, and that would have been totally fair. This is where if we go to the EG one, what I called out was like the couple of kills they give over the dragons and the fumbles at the end. I don't think TL lets them get away with that.
Correct.
And if we go into a rematch, so let's talk about that, and then we'll move on to the rematch of the final.
Please.
So, can I throw something out there? And this is more illogical and less along the lines of like anything statistical, but there is like a little bit of this energy of like both of these teams, and especially in kind of like an upper bracket final, it might not reign true for a final situation if we do see them rematch, but it feels like almost you'd rather have them playing from behind, at least like a 1-2 kind of thing.
Which team, sorry?
Like TL and 100 Thieves. I don't know if I love that, like love TL in a 2-0 lead, because like they do get like a lot better playing from behind. No, I mean, like Bjergsen especially buff.
I mean, yes, but
that's what I'm saying though. Like
I don't want to give Bjergsen
get to map 3. It's like
if you give 2, I think if you give Bjergsen a 2-0 lead, he's pretty good at closing games out.
He still usually closes it out, but honestly, like there's some energy there in a 1-1.
I think you're
just
hyping. I think you're just like you're hyping the narrative that you're just really excited about. Before
we go on, I would just say, and you tried to call me out on this, I've been on the 100 Thieves hype train after like week 1. I was right there with you. I would say I was right there with you, being like, this team is 5-0 in the last 5, 6-0, 7-0, 8-0.
Took more than a week.
That was like
I'm still. Like 6 if I had to, if I had to suggest weak point for the beloved 100 Thieves, I still get nervous about FBI and Huhi. And that has always been my reservation. I think that they're not quite as fucking strong of a bottom side as some of their competitors. And to me, that is the area that I could easily...
Like what, just historically?
No, just like, sorry, like,
this season?
I'm comparing it with like historical greats, right? And if they're going to beat Team Liquid in a final, or if they're even going to beat EG in a final, I think they're going to beat EG in a final if they play EG. I see TL, I guess this is our segue, but I get nervous about 100 Thieves closing it out because of FBI and Huhi. That's just...
If I had to make a suggestion for 100
They're one of the best bot lanes of all time in North America.
Just to make a change, maybe fire your coach week 2.
That works well.
Maybe
okay, EG, TL. You guys heard me. I'm leaning way more TL side. Scoot?
I mean, I think like every statistic and every book would agree with you on that. Like there's no doubting that. It's almost like TL has too much firepower. Again, like I said this last week, before they play 100 Thieves, you look up and down that roster, and there's not really a weak point except Bwipo doing Bwipo things, which is kind of similar to Hilly doing Hilly things. But it seems like even if that happens, they're still going to get away with like the other 4 players being so goddamn strong, whereas like a guy like Summit, as we said, doesn't have that around him, or at least not this split. It's just like there's too much firepower here. I think it's like a TL3. Roll it into final.
Let me just add more salt to the wound that should be your wound, but you just added the salt into your own wound in this scenario.
I thought Scoot would take EG the way you're talking about this momentum is exactly, and everything. Momentum, guys, 3-0, G2, blah, blah, blah. And then
this is literally exactly where I was like waiting for him to be like, I was like, wait, he just threw such a big wrinkle. I was like, he kind of broke my brain there for a second. I was like, wait, what?
The only real way they pull this off like crazy is they're going to have to do like a lot of, not only like very good drafting, but I think unique drafting. And they've been really good at that, but what team did it like not work against? Like where did the gas run out?
That's a weird thing to me. Like a 3-0 is like, I would say that the EG took TL to 5 games previously, and they are playing way better than they did.
But see, here's what I would say.
And I think
here's what I would say.
They figured out how to ult.
Nikki, I think you're just trying to lure Scotty in. You're trying to like feed him little softballs just to like entice him in. It's like just fall for this bait for me. But the reality is,
I do have $5 that
I'm right.
But the reality is, and this was going to be my point, is I don't consider EG beating Cloud9 an impressive victory. It's the same way that Cloud9 beat GG 3-0. Yeah,
Cloud9's shit.
Exactly.
I don't know why you just.
And so to me,
but I do think the way they beat them was good.
But
that's what
yes and no.
Like, the Nocturne comp, like they didn't fight once without an ultimate. Like how good is that?
They didn't have to.
Like it's
my thing is,
I think but when you don't have a team that's applying a lot of pressure, it doesn't become a decision. You know,
TL. I think it's a 3-1.
I was so my bet, my lock, my big bet on this. Whereas last week it was over 4.5. This week I have TL minus 1.5 at 1.95. I just think I just love a 3-0 or 3-1. Again, no discredit or I think Jojopyun.
No.
I have big bets and plans for you this summer and in the summer finals. I'm just telling him, like, I don't need you to. I don't need him to
Chris,
spend.
He's like, it's he's like a horse. He's like, you beautiful boy, you're gonna run so hard. You're gonna win me so much money. Then he breaks his leg, and Chris is like crying, sobbing with a shotgun.
I got big plans for. We have big plans for this summer. But right now, fantastic that they got to this point in this. I think that they're progressing exactly as we want to see them. I do see them,
ahead of schedule.
But I had them right here. This is perfect. Yeah. I think they win one. I don't think they take this to 5 though. I just have a hard time imagining this going to 5.
I would like to reiterate,
and that is why, as I said, minus 1.5 for TL at 1.95. I just love that.
I would like to reiterate on the back of me saying TL 3-0. Something I said earlier in this podcast, which is that I think this is going to be a one-way stomp either way. Like, listen, I think TL will win. I think they're more talented across the board, but also like if EG comes out hot, I think they will also finish the series very quickly.
I will promise you. There's no fucking way.
Don't make those guarantees.
I would if I had a life savings, and I don't even know what the bet would be. There's no way it would be.
He would only need 5-1 odds, Scotty, to make this bet.
There is no way it is an EG 3-0 or 3-1. Neither of those.
You would have said the same shit about fucking G2 Misfits, G2 Fnatic, G2 Rogue, all the way up to
Not true.
He was with you, Scotty. No, Scotty, he was with you.
I never said 3-0. I never said 3-0, but I was with you for G2 beating Fnatic, and I was with G2 beating Rogue. Like I completely.
Yeah.
I was completely on board with that.
But
this.
Listen, not even I would have said G2 3-0 Rogue. Yeah. I don't want solo glory on the prediction, but on the 3-0.
EG's not winning 3-0 or 3-1. If they win 3-2, a massive applause.
Listen,
that's the only chance that they have at winning this.
I've said it time and time again, and sometimes there's just too much energy.
By the way,
to stop a team, and if you figured out it, like you can be the most top tier fucking team in the world, but if you figured something out in the middle of a week on how to play a team, which you could argue that fucking G2 did against Rogue, and also probably against Fnatic, although Fnatic, there's the hint of int in there. But
hint of int,
that's
I
great.
like that.
You like that?
Nice. That might be the name of this episode.
Fnatic, the hint of int.
No, but like,
here's my point. Okay,
I don't know. There is a possibility that somewhere during practice they're just like, holy shit.
On the back of my
play this matchup. And Liquid is very good. Don't get me wrong.
On the back of
Liquid
my belief that there's no fucking way that EG wins 3-0 or 3-1. If they're gonna win, it's gonna be a 3-2, and I will give them all the applause. But here's my point, and this is a much better bet, which is if you really believe that EG is going to be able to do a sneak attack, or at least maybe they'll go down 2, maybe do a reverse sweep and come back, instead of putting money on EG to win outright at 2.75, you can take the over 4.5 and get that at 3.01. And I think that is a way better bet because also you're deleveraging your need to pick one of the two teams, but you get better odds to just go to 5, and even if they go to 5 and lose,
so
I think that's the better bet.
So funny enough, that's actually the bet that I have highlighted was that if you're going to, I love the -1.5, and I was going to say that, but if you really think this series goes to 5 like they did last time, I think the over 4.5 at 3.0 is great. The other one that I think, look, EG got 2 dragons in the whole game against Cloud9, so
not their priority.
Just take first dragon. Just take first dragon for TL every game.
TL does love a dragon.
The odds aren't amazing there, but
what are the odds?
I believe they are. It is 1.51. So it's a little bit below.
That's usually you don't like that.
No, I know,
but you're breaking your own rule.
I am, yeah. But 2 of them hit.
Under 3.5 maps.
That's just not worth the value.
Also, just to add to the
really?
rant between the 2 of you, I don't know what's happened to you 2 today, but you've come in feisty.
So feisty.
That's for sure. I would say that
every time.
This is going to, I hope this is going to be a game where even if it's a 3-0 TL or 3-1 TL, I don't think the scoreline will represent how good EG played. So it could be an incredibly close 3-0 or incredibly close 3-1. Not like what we saw happen to Cloud9, who just got dumpstered and like dog shit. In either one, like really, it's great because the nice thing about Cloud9, you don't even need to say which match. They just got completely destroyed in both matches. Anyway, since we all believe that TL is going to win,
that's crazy.
It's brazy. They say the cool kids say brazy these days.
I will agree with you. The other thing I don't want to see is like EG gimmick their way into early game kills and then just like but then like not have control for the rest of the game.
No, that's no, but like to me, if they have an unusual draft and they're able to put like and they pull it off and they win, let's say Nocturne Leona, and they just smash with that, I'm like, awesome, that's great.
No, like, that's that,
and I think that's how they win.
Awesome. But I'm saying like
took TL to game 5s through that, and I think game 5 draft is what lost them it. Now, let's say they don't do that, I think we have a banger. And
let's get cute, but not too cute. You know,
I think we get. I really think this could potentially go to 5 games because they did it before. I really think EG feels a lot more comfortable in themselves. So we'll see. I still think TL. I think TL takes it. TL 100 Thieves rematch. I don't know who to call.
I'm calling it right now. TL minus 1.5.
I mean, whatever team wins TLEG is.
Why is that?
I just think, I think it might have been Plato. I might be wrong, but
you ate Plato.
Plato,
the philosopher. It was
not Plato.
Yeah,
it was.
I don't read.
It's really hard to bait the same team twice, and so.
He did.
It was there. It was in the scrolls.
As he looked upon the fire and the shadows were reflected, he recognized the truth of the world that he lived in the cave. Yes, and
That was actually Nietzsche, but
it wasn't. I actually do read script, and
so again,
Nietzsche is there is no purpose.
I'm talking about the. It's hard to beat the same.
To be fair,
not the cave. We all know the fucking cave
Nietzsche
was Plato.
just believes life is hard. Kill yourself. So like that's
tomato. Nietzsche, Plato, Pluto. It's really hard to beat the same team twice. Maybe Shakespeare. And so therefore I have a strong inclination that Liquid does not get reverse swept and has a bit of vengeance in them and comes out, shows up, and I see a 3-1 -1.5, and I think you're going to get it's going to be absurd. Liquid's going to be the favorite going into that match. And it's going to be really annoying because I'm not going to get the value that I really want on it. I bet you I'm going to get like 2.3 for -1.5.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow, that's generous. I was like 1.9.
No.
I reckon you'll get 1.9.
-1.5 against EG is 1.95. So I'm definitely.
Yeah, and I think we'll have similar lines. I think 100 Thieves.
No.
I think 100 Thieves will be like a 2.1 favorite underdog.
Correct.
And Liquid will be a 1.6. And so
-1.5, therefore,
which is the same as
therefore the -1.5. Therefore the -1.5 goes way higher. Like right now at 1.46 is what Liquid is favorited.
Oh, sorry.
Therefore the -1.5 would be like 2.3 or 2.4, which I think
updated my
which I want -1.5 against 100 Thieves. Like if it was an even match, you'd expect to get -1.5 at like 2.8, 2.9, 3. And so I'm not going to get as much value as I want, but I truly believe Liquid 3-1 in the final.
Let's break this down. 3-0 either way. Team from the lower bracket wins the final. Easy. We know that. 3-1 either way. They lose to 100 Thieves in the final. Regardless. Doesn't matter who comes out of it. 3-2. 3-2 EG. EG would beat 100 Thieves in the final. 3-2 TL. TL loses to 100 Thieves in the final. So, the only solution here is if TL 3-0s, EG 3-0s, or EG 3-2s.
But why?
That's how we're going to win. Don't worry about it.
Okay, cool.
Hey, hold on. I actually have a source for this. Just trust me, bro.
Okay.
It's a nice source.
It's all good.
I don't think 100 Thieves goes down 2-0 to TL in the finals. I think they come out swinging a bit more. I'm really hopeful with Abdage's performance, and it was a great performance against Bjergsen, who arguably is the best mid laner currently in the LCS, I would say. So that made me really hopeful. I think FBI and Huhi played better, not necessarily at the level of last year, but enough to compete, and hopefully they continue that into this weekend's matches. So and look, bias, I'm a 100 Thieves fan. I love this team. I love these players. I'm skewing towards 100 Thieves, but I think it is going to be incredibly hard to call it because TL is such a great team. And I don't agree with you, or you can't beat the same team twice. I don't think you can beat a good team the same way twice. So I don't think that 100 Thieves can just do what they did previously. I don't think TL will make the same mistakes they did previously. And so we're going to get another series where both teams are really going to be looking at like what happened, where things went wrong, and how do they kind of improve and stop things from kind of popping off either way. I'm leaning towards 100 Thieves because of my heart and because of, I guess, like they just won. So there's this element of recency bias. I think if TL had managed to close it out, I'd be leaning towards TL.
Yep.
But it was such a close series, it goes either way. I think you look at like an over 4.5 odds. I would take the underdog, whoever it is, most likely TL, 100 Thieves. But like if it's TL, I would 100% take that. I would definitely pay attention to some of the prop bets. Have a look at like kind of what happens there. 2 Barons per map, I think could be a really good bet. I think that could be something that's worth taking. I think some of the kill bet spreads would be. It depends on where the line is. I'd probably more go time I'd probably look at
time. You almost got really hot to me for a second.
I would probably look at... Ugly. If you look at the time, Game 5 was 34 minutes. Game 4 was 31. Game 3 was 30. Game 2... So if you can get something over, like, under 32 minutes, I would take that. If it's like under 32, I would take that. If it's under 31 and a half, maybe, depends on the odds, that's a bit tighter, but like that, there's only one game that went over 32 minutes. So but I am really excited because I was worried that 100 Thieves would get rolled. I did worry a little bit there, just because TL has been so consistent, and we've seen that some players on the 100 Thieves have underperformed. The fact that they are coming off essentially a massive win streak at the end of the regular season, have taken that into winning both their matches one match dominantly, and then adapting really well across this series, makes me feel really positive. Because I think draft, actually, I think this season, across the board, LEC and LCS, I think the draft has been so important. Because, one, picking the right comp for yourself, but understanding the other team's comp and knowing what to ban. Because people are, 100%, I think not banning Ahri against G2 is what lost Rogue that series.
It was wild.
Pick red side, win game.
It does feel like the red side is. I mean, I was also paying attention to this, and occasionally, I mean, like 100 Thieves won blue side in their map 5, which I was actually very surprised by. I was super surprised. Like, I thought that was actually going to be part of the decision. Yeah.
Red side, if you're planning on snowballing quickly.
Bang.
Also,
by the way,
100
Thieves
Thieves Academy
for it was a mixed bag. 100 Thieves won two out of two blue sides.
Yeah, maybe it's not as true for the LCS.
And Liquid won one blue side as well. So it's I do know what I do think red side is stronger, but it's interesting.
C9's predominantly blue side, right?
Yeah.
They play through blue, which is a huge mistake. Didn't 100 Thieves Academy also just have like a crazy run through Proving Grounds? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it was they lost in the finals, but it was like a really good
3-2 though.
Yeah, it was a really good series.
Yeah, so props to them.
So, look, I
they've
think
got the next generation too. Fuck.
I think that wraps it up. I'm super excited. I think this has just been like a really good performance. It's exciting to see EG. You know, we talked about preseason how NA was doing things differently. I think TSM obviously imploded. Cloud9 has imploded, and it's a shame because I think with LS they look good. So I'm pretty sure they're going to... I think that Summit's gone, and I wouldn't be surprised if other people are as well, and they're going to go back to a more traditional, like, just standard method, which it disappoints me, and they deserve to crash and burn for that. I love seeing the returning champs actually be competitive and reach the finals. I think that's great. It shows it's not a fluke, whatever happens. TL is delivering.
I would agree with that.
And EG's peaking at the right time. We have like
this is what you want.
I'm excited.
This is what you want.
This
is
it's what you want.
This is the lock-in final rematch that we're all waiting for.
It's awesome. It's like we're really getting, and I think these three teams will continue to push each other in summer, and hopefully that takes NA to a good performance at Worlds. You know, like ultimate, like that's where the goal is. And I think NA gets some unfair flack because, you know, last year, for example, I think 100 Thieves didn't do that badly.
Yep.
But the way the groups are set up, it sometimes goes against them. But I am super.
We've been waiting for this for 2 years, which is like NA to innovate a little bit and do something differently. And so hopefully this is the turning point for that.
Hopefully.
Let me throw you the alternate reality where Summit is not gone, but LS comes back.
No, he's already said he's not.
I know. I'm kidding.
He's already just trolling. Like, no, he moved back to he's over.
That would be hilarious, though. It would be awesome as well, and the people would love it.
We would.
But yeah, that sucks. I'm very excited for this weekend. This is going to be epic.
With that being said, if you want to hear more from us, which of course you do, you can check out our sister podcast that covers the CDL called The Money Hill. You can find both of those on our YouTube at Bo3 Network, and you can also follow us on Twitter at Bo3 Network and find links to everything there. Most importantly, to our Discord, where we have lots of great banter, some very smart people that are not us that can inform you with good bets, and we sometimes occasionally try to watch the matches live and chat about it. It's a great little group. We would love for you to subscribe and like our videos on YouTube if you're listening.
Which, by the way,
we would love for you to join our Discord.
We love a good podcast listener. We love our podcast listeners, but the YouTube is more entertaining. I even find myself now watching on YouTube.
Yeah, it is.
No, I'm Team Audio Frog. Let's fucking go. If you're listening through headphones right now, can't see our faces, just know that I love you. The other two might not, but I'm here for you.
It's true.
I'll give you the hug.
Yeah, he will. He'll give you the hug after he gives you a bad prediction and you lose money. With Chris and I, you'll see the money. And that is really what's
the money
important.
I made people the week before outweighs the loss.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Once again, thank you for all of your support. And we hope you have a great weekend watching the LCS. And I hope you actually had a wonderful Easter, since it was Easter weekend, or Passover, if that's your jam. All right. Thanks, everyone. Peace.
Toodaloo.
Peace out.